You've been told to be nice, to be patient, polite, accommodating, endlessly understanding. You've been told that if you treat her well and never make a wrong move, she'll eventually wake up and choose you. But if you've lived in the real world, you know how that story ends. She appreciates you, she trusts you. She calls you when her heart is broken by a man who isn't nice. She calls you when she needs help moving, when she needs advice, when she needs reassurance. She doesn't call you when she wants desire. She doesn't call you when she wants to feel that pulse of aliveness that makes life taste sharper. That's not cruelty, it's wiring. Attraction isn't a gratitude program. Attraction is a nervous system event, and being a nice guy, overly available, approval-seeking, eager to please, is like throwing warm water on a flame and wondering why it won't burn. If what you've heard so far is shifting how you see yourself, stay with me until the end because we're just getting started. Here's the truth men are rarely told. Women don't fall for men because they are nice. Women fall for men who are real. Real means congruent. Real means your words, your posture, your attention, your boundaries, and your desire line up. Real means you aren't trying to bargain for affection with kindness, because kindness is your baseline, not your currency. The nice guy fails not because kindness is wrong, but because his kindness is conditional, anxious, and performative. He gives as a strategy. He over-explains to avoid rejection. He apologizes for wanting anything. He softens himself until there's nothing left to push against. He erases tension, and without tension, there's no magnetism. Tension is the charge between your self-respect and your desire. It's the subtle edge that says, I am safe, but I'm not bland. I am respectful, but I won't disappear. I like you, but I don't need your approval to breathe. That's the current she feels in her body. That's the difference between being seen as reliable and being experienced as irresistible. Let's strip this down to the nervous system level so you can feel what I mean. When a woman encounters you, her body is scanning, fast and honest, for two things: safety and aliveness. Safety. Are you grounded, congruent, not a threat, not a boy pretending to be a man? Aliveness. Are you vivid, decisive, a source of direction and momentum, someone who adds energy to her world rather than draining it? The nice guy overinvests in safety by collapsing aliveness. He thinks, if I just remove all edges, she'll relax and choose me. But edges are the frame that makes the picture interesting. Without edges, there's nothing to hold her attention. Meanwhile, the man she can't stop thinking about tends to project calm certainty, embodied boundaries, unhurried eye contact, and a light, teasing tension that suggests he can lead a moment without forcing it. He doesn't beg the moment to go his way. He allows the moment to reveal itself, and he chooses confidently within it. The nice guy tries to pre-negotiate the entire outcome to avoid uncertainty. She feels the negotiation, not the man. You felt this in your own body. Think back to times you tried to impress someone with perfect politeness. Your breath went shallow. Your voice lifted half a note. Your smile held a fraction too long. You became a mirror, not a man. Now contrast that with moments you were unapologetically rooted. Shoulders back, breath low, gaze steady, words concise because you trusted your presence more than your performance. You said less, and it meant more. You asked for what you wanted without hovering on her response like a starving animal. You moved first, not to pressure, but to clarify your intent. In those moments, you were not nice. You were grounded, generous, and unapologetically masculine. That's the shift. Not to become unkind, but to stop using kindness as camouflage for fear. Why doesn't the nice guy approach work? Because it violates the core mechanics of attraction. First, it signals scarcity. When you're overly accommodating, she intuitively senses that you're trying to secure a rare resource, her approval. Scarcity makes you grasp. Grasping kills polarity. Second, it collapses standards. If everything she does is perfect and every boundary you have is negotiable, you communicate that you'll accept any behavior as long as you get affection. That is not devotion. That's dependency. Third, it removes leadership. When you outsource every decision, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Is this okay? You offload the very responsibility that makes a woman feel held. Leadership doesn't mean control. It means offering a direction, reading reality, and making clear choices while staying open to her input. Fourth, it hides desire. The nice guy tries to smuggle desire in through friendship, hoping she'll connect the dots. She doesn't. She feels the lack of honesty and categorizes you accordingly. Fifth, it erases tension. Attraction lives in the dance between closeness and space, warmth and edge. When you smother with constant availability, you leave no space for longing to form. Let's talk about the covert contract because it quietly ruins more romantic potential than anything else. The covert contract says, "I'll do all these nice things for you, and in return, you'll want me." But you never say that second sentence out loud. You pretend you're just being a good man. When she doesn't pay your hidden invoice with sexual interest, you feel resentful. She feels the resentment before you even speak it, because the body doesn't lie. That subtle bitterness is attraction poison. Drop the contract. Replace it with clarity. If you're interested in a woman, show it cleanly, without pressure, without a sales pitch, without an angle. "I like your energy. Let's grab a coffee on Thursday at 7. That's clean. If she declines, you respect it and move on. The right women find that clarity refreshing because it cuts through the fog of posturing that dominates modern dating. Now let's drill into what to do instead, step by step, so you can implement this immediately. Start with posture and breath. Before you speak, before you text, before you walk into a room, slow your exhale. Drop your shoulders 1 inch. Lengthen your spine as if a string lifts you from the crown of your head. Your body sets your bandwidth. From this grounded posture, your voice naturally descends half a step. Your words land heavier. Avoid quick monologues. Use silence strategically. Let her finish her sentences without rushing to fill the space. The silence is not emptiness. It's a frame that makes your presence legible. She's not just listening to what you say. She's feeling how you hold yourself between words. Calm, unhurried pacing telegraphs internal resources. That's what safety feels like. Stable, not smothering. Next, own your desire without apology. The difference between pressure and presence is honesty. Pressure hides, presence reveals. You don't need to announce every thought. You simply allow your eyes, your timing, and your decisions to imply your interest. When she shares something genuine, hold her gaze the extra beat that says, "I'm here." When a moment calls for a move, standing closer, offering your arm, suggesting the next spot, lead lightly. Watch her body language. Attraction breathes when you combine intent with sensitivity. Consent is part of masculine clarity. You're not asking for permission to exist. You're reading the moment and choosing with respect. If she leans back or closes off, you give space without sulking. Self-command is arousing because it proves your desire doesn't control you. Establish standards early, not in speeches and behavior. Standards are what you refuse to negotiate. You don't chase flaky responses. You don't clear your schedule for last-minute maybes. You don't reward disrespect with more effort. You handle logistics decisively. Thursday at 7, wine bar on the corner. If that doesn't work, let's plan another time. If she's vague, you don't argue with it, you mirror it and step back. Investment is the governor of momentum. If you habitually invest more than she does, you teach her your attention is cheap. Make it earned, not as a game, but as a reflection of your self-value. When she invests, by suggesting a plan, asking questions, being responsive, you reward that with warmth. That reciprocity is the silent language of high-value men. Calibrate your messaging cadence. The nice guy texts like an IV drip, constant, anxious, checking in for validation. The grounded man texts with intention. He's present when he's there and absent when he's focused elsewhere. He doesn't punish with silence, he simply has a life. Think in terms of rhythm, not rules. Early on, let your messages carry weight. Use clear invitations, a pinch of humor, and a touch of flirtation. Avoid interrogation mode. Curiosity beats questioning. You've got a mischievous vibe. What's the most impulsive thing you've done this month is better than 10 cold questions about her day. When she hooks, reward with attention, then move the conversation toward a plan. Prolonged chatting without movement dilutes polarity. Your role is to move the energy from potential to reality. Offer direction on dates. Direction doesn't mean inflexibility, it means you create the container. You choose environments that support tension and comfort. A quiet bar with ambient lighting where you can hear each other. A walk between two locations to let the body reset. Seating that allows proximity without crowding. Open slowly, then deepen. Ask about what lights her up. When she talks about her passions, hold eye contact and watch for spark. Mirror her energy without mimicking it. Sprinkle in light challenge to keep the edges alive. If she tests you with playful pushback, smile. The nice guy gets defensive because he's afraid of losing approval. The grounded man enjoys the friction because he's not negotiating his worth. He can tease without cruelty and compliment without worship. He doesn't pedestal, he appreciates. Pedestals create gaps. Appreciation creates connection. Master the art of selective attention. Give focused presence to traits you actually value: integrity, curiosity, depth, playfulness, rather than blanket adoration. When she shares something aligned with your standards, let it land. I like how direct you are. When she reveals something that doesn't fit, stay calm. You're not a judge, but you are an editor of your life. She will feel the difference between a man who will do anything to be chosen and a man who chooses carefully. That difference changes the axis of the interaction. It moves you from applicant to selector, not because you think you're better, but because you're responsible for the quality of your world. Responsibility is attractive because it signals stability and leadership. Hold your frame under pressure. The frame is the psychological space that says, here's how I see this moment. Weak frames collapse under social friction. Strong frames flex but don't snap. If she arrives late without letting you know, you don't lecture. You notice, you reset. You keep the bar of respect where it belongs. If her phone keeps interrupting, you can say with a relaxed smile, let's put these away for a bit. I want your attention. It's not a demand, it's a standard. If that standard can't be met, you have the spine to end the date gracefully. This isn't dramatics, it's clarity in action. Every time you reinforce your frame calmly, you strengthen the magnetic field around you. She may test, consciously or not, to see if your confidence is real or printed on flimsy paper. When you pass those tests, with humor, calm, and warmth, you demonstrate that your core isn't up for negotiation. Let's talk polarity, because it's the engine of attraction. Polarity is the charge created by difference, your directed, grounded energy meeting her responsive, expressive energy. The nice guy flattens polarity by trying to be everything she is. He mirrors her opinions, matches her pace, copies her expressions. It feels safe in the moment, but it kills the current. You don't need to perform masculinity. You need to stop hiding from it. Masculinity in this context is not volume. It's direction. It's the willingness to decide. It's steadiness under emotion, yours and hers. It's the ability to hold space for her feelings without being swallowed by them. Polarity intensifies when you stand firm in your lane and invite her into it, while honoring that she isn't required to step in. When she does, desire naturally builds. Not because you chased it, but because you made room for it. You also need to build mystery the right way. Mystery isn't being evasive, it's being rich. Rich in purpose, in experiences, in self-respect, in standards, in passions that would exist with or without her. The nice guy depends on her attention to feel alive. The grounded man adds her to a life that's already in motion. This is not posturing, it's actual lifestyle. Your training, your craft, your friendships, your mission, all of that shapes an aura of direction that women find compelling. When she senses that your day wouldn't collapse without her, she relaxes. Not because you don't care, but because you aren't trying to harvest her attention to fill a void. That absence of need is not coldness. It's oxygen. Now let's refine your communication so every word you speak does more with less. Keep your sentences short when the stakes are high. Clarity is compelling. Speak from your body, not from your forehead. Avoid stacking qualifiers. Maybe, kind of, sort of, if that's okay, unless you're deliberately softening for sensitivity. Ask for what you want in clean language. I want to see you Friday is clean. I was thinking maybe if you're not too busy and if you want, we could possibly... Is fog. Fog invites friction. Clean invites clarity. When you disagree, don't escalate. Slow down. I hear you. I see it differently. That sentence alone signals you won't abandon yourself for approval. When you compliment, make it specific and present tense. You look incredible in that color, lands better than a generic, you're beautiful, because it shows you're awake to the moment. Harness play without sacrificing respect. A light push-pull rhythm keeps tension alive. Warm, then a hint of challenge. Tease, then reassure. Step in, then give a breath of space. Think of it like dancing. You don't cling, you don't vanish. You lead the beat and you listen. Too many men cling, then panic and vanish. Both extremes signal fear. The middle path signals mastery, and in that dance you never lose sight of consent, comfort, and mutuality. Attraction that endures is co-created. You can be the conductor of the moment without stealing the music. Eliminate pedestal thinking. Pedestals make you small and her lonely. She doesn't want to be worshipped as a goddess whose approval determines your worth. She wants to be a woman who is seen clearly and chosen deliberately. When you worship, you disappear. When you appreciate, you connect. Appreciate with your eyes, your timing, your curiosity. Ask real questions, not the template ones you memorized. Follow the thread of what lights her up. If she lights up about movement, talk about the body. If she lights up about art, talk about beauty. If she lights up about challenge, talk about growth. Your attention is the most masculine gift you can offer because it tells her, I am here with you, not just fishing for validation. This is the moment to talk about boundaries. Boundaries are not punishments. They are the shape of your self-respect. You don't announce them like a manifesto. You embody them. If she cancels twice, you stop offering plans. If she disrespects your time, you stop rearranging your life to fit her last-minute pivots. If she gossips viciously about others, you notice and decide if that fits your world. Boundaries protect your dignity, and dignity is a powerful aphrodisiac because it tells the truth without theater. A man who respects himself gives her something to relax into. She can lean into a man with spine. She has to tiptoe around a man who wants to be liked at any cost. Cultivate an abundance mentality that's not fake bravado. Abundance doesn't mean juggling endless options to look impressive. It means truly believing that your life is rich whether or not this specific woman chooses you. That belief frees your behavior from desperation. You move slower, you choose better, you negotiate less with your integrity. Abundance makes your no potent and your yes valuable. Women feel that. It's in the way you end a date when the energy is flat, the way you decline an invitation that doesn't serve you, the way you leave a conversation when it becomes draining. Abundance isn't a line you say, it's a posture your whole life confirms. Now let's anchor these principles into daily practice because theory won't save you. First, the body. Train regularly, not to impress her, but to calibrate you. Strength training for spine, cardio for endurance, mobility for grace. A masculine presence is not only a mindset, it's a way you inhabit space. Second, style. Wear clothes that fit your frame. Neutral palettes, clean lines, textures that invite touch. Your wardrobe should communicate intention without screaming for attention. Third, voice work. Read a page out loud every day with slow exhale, emphasizing lows over highs. Your voice is your handshake at a distance. Fourth, solitude. Spend time alone without screens. Learn to enjoy your own company. Silence teaches you to stop chasing noise. Fifth, mission. Pick something to build that outlasts applause. Career, craft, business, art. A man with a mission projects inevitability, and inevitability is compelling. When you approach, do it with calm, not drama. The nice guy waits for the perfect moment because he's bribing fate to guarantee a perfect outcome. The grounded man creates a clean moment. He notices, he approaches at a steady pace, he opens with something true about the present, and he doesn't linger if the energy isn't there. He's not auditioning, he's scanning for resonance. He believes in the value of his attention, and he offers it with warmth. If you feel a spark and she reciprocates, you move it forward with specifics. If not, you leave with your dignity fully intact. Rejection isn't humiliation when your worth isn't on the line. It's simply data. Data sharpens your intuition. On dates, sequence the experience with intention. Start somewhere relaxed. Dim light. Comfortable seating. Keep your phone out of sight. Early on, lead the logistics so she can relax. If she suggests an alternative, adapt without losing your spine. You're steering, not steamrolling. Ask questions that thread between fun and depth. When a laugh opens the door, step through it with a playful challenge. When a vulnerable moment emerges, slow down and honor it. Tension isn't constant pressure, it's intelligent pacing. Throughout, stay attuned to signals. If she leans in, match the distance. If she touches you, hold her gaze and let the moment breathe. If she seems uncertain, ease off and change the subject. Your sensitivity doesn't weaken your masculinity, it refines it. Stop chasing certainty. The nice guy tries to lock everything down, labels, outcomes, promises. Because uncertainty terrifies him. The grounded man understands that uncertainty is the crucible of attraction. Desire lives in possibility. That doesn't mean playing games. It means letting moments unfold without strangling them. You can express where you stand. I'm interested in seeing where this goes, without forcing a definition on day 2. You can be crystal clear about red lines. I'm not interested in casual chaos, without demanding a contract. Your clarity plus your patience is poison to anxiety. Anxiety tries to sprint to the finish line. Mastery enjoys the run. When conflict inevitably arises, do not trade your frame for closeness. Breathe. Let her have her feelings. Validate the emotion without capitulating on facts. I get that this upset you. Here's what I intended. Here's what I will and won't do. Hold her eyes with softness, not hardness. If you're wrong, say so. If you need an hour to reset, take it. Repair doesn't require self-betrayal. In fact, nothing kills attraction more quickly than self-betrayal in the name of peace. Peace built on self-erasure always collapses. Peace built on mutual respect gets stronger. Understand the difference between testing and disrespect. Testing is friction designed to feel your edges, your consistency, your humor, your calm. Disrespect is erosion of your dignity, insults, contempt, patterns that violate your standards. You meet testing with grace. You meet disrespect with distance. The nice guy tries to win disrespect over with more niceness. The grounded man quietly exits. You don't advertise your departure. You don't perform goodbye speeches. You simply stop auditioning for a role that insults your character. Women respect what you respect. If you don't respect yourself, they can't feel you. If you do, they can relax into you. Let's refine the internal language you use with yourself, because your self-talk leaks through every behavior. Replace, I hope she likes me with, let me see if we connect. Replace, I don't want to mess this up with, I will tell the truth with warmth. Replace, what if I get rejected? With, if this isn't a fit, I'm still me. These micro-shifts recalibrate your nervous system. You stop performing and you start relating. And when you relate, you become memorable. Not because you chase novelty, but because you brought presence, something so rare that it feels like luxury. If what you've heard so far is hitting something inside you, drop your thoughts below. I read every single one. Tell me where you're strong and where you struggle. Naming it is the first act of power. Now, a precise breakdown to replace nice with magnetic. Lead, don't please. Approaches, clean and concrete. Join me for tea Friday at 6. Voice, slower, lower, fewer words. Body, tall through crown, rooted through feet, breath down into abdomen. Eyes, steady, soft, unflinching for the extra beat that communicates interest without need. Humor, warm, teasing, never at her expense. Standards, non-negotiable in behavior, flexible in preference. Investment, respond to effort with effort, not with hunger. Messaging, no extended texting marathons with no plan. Move to logistics, then meet. After the date, a short, confident message acknowledging the moment and offering the next step. If she fades, don't chase. Your energy returns to your mission. If she engages, pace the connection. Don't flood the channel. On intimacy, the rule is simple. Invite, don't invade. If the connection is mutual and the atmosphere is charged, you lead transitions with presence and care. You attune to her pace. You ask in ways that keep the polarity intact, direct, warm, and unhurried. Masculine presence doesn't rush to claim. It listens, it leads, it allows. You are not chasing a trophy. You are co-creating an experience. That difference is everything. She will feel safer going deeper with a man who can say not yet as easily as he can say, come here. Stop apologizing for wanting. Wanting is not the problem. Hiding your wanting behind gifts, favors, and endless pleasantness is the problem. You're not here to run a charity for attention-starved men. You're here to build a life and invite the right woman into it. When you want something, say so. When you don't, say so. When your body says no, honor it. When your standards are crossed, enforce them. When a woman shows up with reciprocity, meet her with warmth that melts the ice off the day. That's the paradox. The less you bargain, the more you receive. If you know a brother who needs to hear this, send it to him today. Don't keep it to yourself. Men aren't taught this, and the cost is entire decades wasted being agreeable instead of unforgettable. Let's consolidate your first week of action. Day 1, posture and breath training, 10 minutes of voice work. Write out your 3 non-negotiable standards and delete conversations that you're nursing out of fear. Day 2, buy 2 outfits that fit and feel like you on your best day. Day 3, approach one woman with a simple, honest opener about the moment and leave cleanly if it doesn't land. Day 4, reach out to a woman you already know with a direct invitation for a specific time and place. Day 5, schedule your training, sleep, and mission blocks for the next 2 weeks. Day 6, review your messages for fog words. Remove half of them. Day 7, reflect on where you still perform and where you tell the truth. This is not a performance, it's a practice. Practice turns into aura. When you step into a room from now on, feel the floor through your feet. Let your breath drop like a stone into deep water. Let your gaze meet the world without flinching. Speak when you mean it. Move when it matters. Create space for silence to do half your talking. If you sense a woman's eyes on you, don't rush to fill the air. Turn. Let your attention settle on her with calm certainty and allow the moment to ripen. If you choose to engage, do it with direction. If not, smile and return to your mission. Your life is the frame. The interaction is the painting. Without the frame, the painting falls off the wall. Here's the final reframe I want you to carry. Stop asking women for permission to be attractive. You are not a petition, you are not a salesman. You are a man with a standard and a direction. You can be kind without capitulation. You can be generous without performance. You can be warm without need. Women don't fall for nice. They fall for clear, grounded, embodied men who know what they want and can hold tension without flinching. They fall for men who lead with their spine and their heart aligned, not men who outsource their worth to the next response on their phone. If what you've heard has sharpened your edge, stay with me and keep sharpening. If this stirred something, anger, relief, hunger, good, that's life waking up. Drop your thoughts below. I read them all. And if you want to keep evolving your presence and your psychology, subscribe and stay close. Every week, I'll give you the next refinement, the next edge, the next step. Until then, stop performing. Start leading. Walk into your world like you belong, because you do.